Sigmas, lean in for a moment. This isn't about dramatics, loud declarations, or flamboyant displays. This is about the subtle shift, the kind of quiet that carries weight. You've heard of danger in the loud, violent sense, but what if I told you that the true mark of a high-value man isn't in the roar of his voice, but the depth of his silence? In a world full of noise, the Sigma male carries a different energy, one that commands respect, not by demanding it, but by demonstrating it. Imagine a still lake at dawn. On the surface, the water seems calm, even placid, yet beneath there is steady movement, unseen power. That's your frame. You don't need to announce your strength, you simply embody it. You don't need to prove your worth to everyone, you live it. You don't stir chaos, you navigate it. And in that navigation lies your edge. This video isn't going to show you how to fight someone or how to dominate a room with volume. Instead, we'll explore something deeper. How you can show that you're dangerous, not because you win fights, but because you are unshakable. Dangerous, in this sense, means you're a force others must respect. Dangerous means you define your own terms. Dangerous means you operate according to your own code. For many men, dangerous brings up images of aggression or dominance. But there's another form, the understated kind. The kind a Sigma male practices daily in subtle ways, in the choices he makes about who to spend time with, what he says and what he holds back, how he responds to pressure, and how he guards his peace. This is your path. We'll walk through 6 traits that reveal you're dangerous in the highest sense. A man who doesn't need an audience, doesn't chase applause, and doesn't rely on others for validation. A man who stands firm, quietly, because his foundation runs deep. So settle in. Let go of the need to prove. Let go of the rush. This is about long-term strength. This is about quiet authority. This is about you stepping into your dangerous self, the one who doesn't need to shout it to be known. Because, at the end of the day, others will feel it. They'll sense your depth. They'll respect it. They'll recognize your presence, regardless of whether you ever raise your voice. Let's begin. Number 1, he maintains silence when others speak loudly. A Sigma male understands something most people overlook. Noise often hides insecurity. While many rush to speak first, to fill silence with opinions, explanations, or bravado, he recognizes that real strength is found in restraint. Silence, for him, is not emptiness, but a deliberate tool. In psychology, intentional silence is often linked to higher self-regulation and emotional intelligence. And Sigma males embody this principle naturally. They know that words lose value when scattered carelessly. So they treat speech like a resource to be used wisely. When others feel pressured to respond immediately, he pauses. He observes body language, tone, intention, and energy. This makes him a far more accurate reader of people than those who rely only on what is being said. In evolutionary terms, this mirrors the behavior of lone wolves, who survive not through noise, but through keen awareness. He may watch a situation unfold without feeling the need to jump into the center of it, because he trusts his understanding more than external validation. In everyday life, this silence becomes unexpectedly powerful. When others are provoked, he does not react. When someone tries to pull him into drama, he does not bite. And when people use loudness as a shield, he sees right through it. His lack of reaction unsettles those who depend on attention to feel in control. Psychological studies show that silence during conflict often destabilizes aggressive communicators because it removes the feedback loop they rely on. This is why the Sigma male's calm, controlled presence can feel dangerous to those who mistake quietness for weakness. Instead of being pulled into emotional chaos, he lets others expose themselves through their own behavior. His role is not to compete for dominance, but to conserve energy for moments that actually require action. And when he does act, his actions are precise, grounded, and impactful, which gives them a weight that noisy personalities rarely achieve. This quiet confidence naturally draws attention. People sense something different about a man who doesn't chase approval or validation. He becomes the type of person others watch without realizing it, the one whose presence shifts the energy of a room. Sociologically, this aligns with the concept of low reactive individuals being perceived as more stable and reliable, which often leads others to gravitate toward them. The Sigma male doesn't seek the spotlight, but the spotlight tends to find him anyway. It's not because he tries to be mysterious, it's because silence, confidence, and self-possession are magnetic traits. And in a world full of noise, the man who speaks only when it matters becomes the most compelling voice of all. Number two, he acts through consistency, not hype. Real danger doesn't appear with loud footsteps or dramatic warnings. It reveals itself through consistency, discipline, and unwavering focus. The Sigma male embodies this truth in a way that is both subtle and profoundly effective. While others broadcast their intentions, make promises they rarely keep, or rely on theatrics to gain attention, the Sigma moves in a completely different rhythm. He shows up every single day, not because someone is watching, but because his standards demand it. Psychology researchers call this intrinsic motivation, a mindset where a person acts from inner values rather than external validation, and it is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success. The Sigma male understands that real power doesn't need an audience, it needs commitment. His ability to keep his word, even when no one is holding him accountable, slowly builds a reputation that is more formidable than any loud claim. Silence becomes part of his strategy. In behavioral psychology, people who speak less are often perceived as more competent and grounded because they allow their actions to do the talking. The Sigma male uses this to his advantage without even trying. He works silently on his craft, sharpening his mind, improving his emotional control, strengthening his skills, and refining his character. This quiet work, repeated over months and years, compounds like interest in a bank account. Others may burn out after a burst of motivation, but the Sigma relies on discipline, which research has proven to be far more reliable than motivation for achieving mastery. His progress is slow, steady, and almost invisible until suddenly it isn't. One day people look up and realize he has surpassed expectations without ever announcing his intentions. Over time, this reliability creates a presence that others can feel even before he speaks. His calm demeanor is not a sign of passivity, but of self-control, a trait linked to higher problem-solving ability and emotional intelligence. In a world full of impulsive reactions and emotional outbursts, his composure stands out as almost intimidating. His persistence becomes his armor, his silence becomes his strategy, and his results become his voice. He doesn't influence people by force or manipulation, but by the simple, undeniable weight of consistency. That is where the real danger lies. Not in noise, but in the quiet man who keeps showing up, building, improving, and evolving. While others compete loudly, he wins quietly. Over time, his steady presence becomes his most powerful weapon, one that requires no announcement, because true strength never needs one. Number 3, He chooses his battles wisely. Dangerous men don't fight every fight. And this is one of the most misunderstood truths about real strength. In a world that glorifies loud dominance and constant reaction, the Sigma male stands apart by mastering the art of selective engagement. He understands a fundamental psychological principle. Not every battle is worth the cost. Modern behavioral science confirms that humans who conserve mental and emotional energy make better decisions, respond with greater clarity, and are less likely to be manipulated. The Sigma male embodies this effortlessly. Instead of reacting to every insult, challenge, or emotional trigger, he evaluates the situation like a strategist. He asks himself whether this moment truly matters, whether the outcome will change anything meaningful, and whether the conflict earns the use of his time and presence. When the answer is no, he simply walks away. This isn't weakness, it's emotional intelligence in action. Research on self-regulation shows that the ability to delay reaction is a sign of higher cognitive control, and the Sigma male uses this to stay grounded and unshaken. By withdrawing from trivial conflicts, he sends a powerful message without saying a word. The people who expect him to lash out or defend himself are left confused when he does neither. His silence disarms them. His calmness makes their chaos look foolish. He becomes unpredictable, not because he is unstable, but because he refuses to give anyone the predictable reaction they expect. In psychology, unpredictability is often linked to perceived power, because unpredictability keeps others from mapping your behavior or controlling your responses. This is the quiet advantage Sigma males naturally hold. He saves his energy for the rare moments that genuinely need his voice or his strength. And when he finally chooses to engage, the impact is felt deeply because people know he doesn't act without purpose. This makes his presence heavier, his words more serious, and his actions more respected. Even history is filled with men who understood this principle. Sun Tzu emphasized choosing battles wisely, noting that victory belongs to those who conserve strength. Stoic philosophers taught that the man who controls himself cannot be controlled by others. The Sigma male mirrors these timeless teachings. His restraint is not passive, it is strategic. He knows that reacting to everything weakens him, so he cultivates a stillness that others cannot penetrate. This stillness becomes power. His detachment becomes discipline, and his refusal to fight meaningless battles makes him the one man others hesitate to provoke. This is the quiet danger of the Sigma male. He acts with intention, he fights with precision, and his unpredictability makes him a force no one sees coming until it's too late. Number 4, his boundaries are clear and unbending. True danger comes from clarity, and for the Sigma male, this clarity shows itself in a way that others often underestimate until they feel its impact. His no is final, not because he is stubborn, but because it is rooted in psychological principles of self-preservation, cognitive discipline, and high personal standards. Human behavior research consistently shows that people with firm boundaries experience less emotional fatigue, stronger mental focus, and greater life satisfaction. And Sigma males embody this truth almost instinctively. They operate with a philosophy that values principle over impulse, understanding that every small decision shapes their identity. In everyday life, this shows up in quiet, almost unremarkable choices that compound into something powerful. He says no to people who constantly drain his energy because he understands the science behind emotional bandwidth and how stress hormones affect long-term well-being. He turns down opportunities that compromise his integrity because trust, once fractured, cannot be fully restored. He avoids environments that dull his mind, knowing that the brain adapts to its surroundings through neuroplasticity, meaning that low-quality spaces can subtly reshape the way a person thinks. These boundaries are not meant to build walls, but to preserve freedom. They reflect a deep understanding of human psychology, especially concepts like selective association, which suggests that the people you spend time with can influence your ambition, habits, and even your emotional baseline. By choosing carefully, the Sigma male protects his trajectory. And because he does not overshare or seek validation, his decisions seem mysterious, even intimidating to those who rely on the approval of others. Yet the real danger lies not in the mystery, but in the unwavering consistency of his choices. His limits are sacred because he has measured them, tested them, and shaped them with intention. He knows what drains him, what strengthens him, and what aligns with his long-term vision. When someone who has mastered their boundaries moves through the world, they naturally command respect without asking for it. People sense the difference. They feel the stability, the self-control, and the absence of desperation. It is this clarity that sets the Sigma male apart. He doesn't need to raise his voice, prove a point, or showcase strength. His restraint speaks louder than aggression ever could. His life becomes a quiet declaration that power is not in dominating others, but in refusing to let the world dominate him. Number 5, he cultivates his inner world. The dangerous man's foundation is never loud or chaotic. It is quietly built from within. A true Sigma male understands that the mind is his greatest weapon, so he invests in expanding it through constant learning, observation, and introspection. Psychology studies show that people with strong internal loci of control handle stress better and make more effective decisions. And the Sigma male embodies this principle effortlessly. He trains his emotions with the same seriousness others reserve for physical strength, knowing that emotional regulation increases resilience, reduces impulsive behavior, and enhances long-term success. His discipline extends to his physical and spiritual life as well. He knows that a well-conditioned body sharpens mental clarity, and spiritual grounding provides meaning in a world that often feels directionless. What makes him dangerous is not aggression or intimidation, but the steadiness he carries when the world around him begins to shake. While others panic under pressure, he adapts because adaptability is proven to be one of the strongest predictors of personal growth and survival. While others complain about circumstances, he creates solutions, ideas, opportunities, and paths where none previously existed. His mindset is similar to what cognitive scientists call anti-fragility, the ability to grow stronger after facing chaos, setbacks, and uncertainty. This unshakable inner world gives him a quiet dominance that can't be faked or borrowed, because real strength is internal, not performative. A Sigma male knows that the moment you master your inner self, the external world loses its power to break you. He becomes dangerous not by force, but by the calm confidence that comes from being rooted, disciplined, adaptable, and beyond the reach of everyday chaos. Number 6, he influences by example, not by command. The Sigma male understands something most people overlook. True influence has very little to do with control and everything to do with presence. Instead of forcing others to listen, he becomes someone worth listening to. His lifestyle, discipline, and choices speak for him long before he ever opens his mouth. Psychologists call this phenomenon social modeling, where people naturally mirror the behavior of those they quietly admire. The Sigma male embodies this effortlessly. While others compete for attention, he gains respect by demonstrating consistency, self-reliance, and emotional steadiness. In a world overwhelmed with noise, opinions, and performative confidence, this calm authenticity becomes magnetic. People notice how he moves through challenges without dramatizing them, how he maintains boundaries without confrontation, and how he treats others with a grounded sense of fairness. His independence isn't rebellion. It is a declaration that he refuses to be governed by external pressure. That alone is dangerous in the best, most transformative way. His presence disrupts the usual hierarchy because he proves you can lead without leading, teach without preaching, and inspire without demanding loyalty. Sociologists refer to this as silent leadership, a form of influence rooted in example rather than authority. The Sigma male's quiet mastery forces people to rethink what real strength looks like. He becomes a reminder that the most dangerous men are not the loudest, but the ones who move with purpose, certainty, and calm conviction. Men who lead effortlessly simply by being themselves. Sigmas, as you reflect on these 6 traits, remember, danger isn't in aggression or display. It's in calm, clarity, and control. When you embody these qualities, you become unshakable, not because you overpower others, but because you have mastered yourself. Observe your silence, your focus, and your energy this week. Protect it, strengthen it, live it. Because when you do, your presence will speak louder than any words ever could. If you found value in this message, subscribe and continue walking this path of quiet strength.